since this is the first season ever. It's crazy to think when the first VGR started, starting with Apex 2015, now starting with Genesis 6 for this season. But speaking about VGR players, Salem, previously really dangerous VGR player, and Pelca coming from New England. We're going to hop right into Snake Ditto's No War.
Yeah, and Snake Ditto's, we saw another one of them earlier with Ally versus Pelca, in which Ally managed to take it 3-1 with his Mario, so kind of breaking the mold on that one. But Snake Ditto's are very interesting because...
This is not a button check, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. This is peak Snake Ditto's.
And that's exactly what you're going to see. If it's hard to keep track of one set of grenades, you have 4 grenades, 2 C4s, like up smashes everywhere. It's basically going to be an explosion every single time you see something on the screen.
Yeah, we could be here for a good amount of time, considering Pelca's playstyle borders more on the passive and space-based sort of play, where he's looking more for defensive options, he's looking more to camp out the player and frustrate them to make them make mistakes. And then Salem, more the enigmatic player, showing us earlier in Ultimate where he was even juggling Link, and a lot of that item play that he has always shown us to be amazing at.
Yeah, as you said, both like very similar but different spins on the slow and steady wins the race stroke. And both these guys are coming from Brawl, by the way. So Pelca originally played Falco in Brawl, and Salem, he played Zero Suit Samus, one of the few to rock that character to the extent that he did. So Brawl, a bit of a differently paced game, some slower paced interactions were possible. So these guys are very used to, waiting it out and making sure the opponent makes the mistake first, as Salem draws first blow with that up tilt.
Yep, this is looking like Modern Warfare 2 out here. I mean, Nikitas, grenades, everything's set. But again, there's so much happening that might not, more than beats the eye, honestly, because the C4s that are placed and everything else, there's a lot to manage. Both your grenades and your opponent's Snake in this Ditto. It's a lot.
Yeah, and Salem actually got hit like 5 grenades there, 3 of them being his own. He kept on trying to pull a grenade to get out of disadvantage and hope that Pelca was going to hit a button on him. But Pelca just tossed the grenade up and waited. So smart by him, and now that really cements his advantage, in which he didn't have one at all before.
Yeah, both of them are familiar on how to, again, clip the Nikita so that the hurt box itself doesn't affect them, but it's still like managing within the grenades, managing within the C4s. I mean, we're practically 3 minutes into this set, 2 stocks apiece still.
Yeah, and I could see 1 or 2 of these games potentially going to time, knowing both these players. They are very stubborn, so that sometimes if they don't, or excuse me, if the opponent has a lead, they're like, okay, I still know I'm more patient. I can force you to approach just because I know I'm stronger mentally.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the matchups when it comes to Dittos in this game, where mental resilience pretty much determines much of the set. And right there, Pelca missing the opportunity to recover, with Salem keeping him at bay with Nikita.
Oh my god, that was so much damage. 32 immediately. Nice back air just to kind of get Snake off stage, and he actually dies to the Nikita. I didn't think he would die right there. That wasn't the strong hit of it.
Yeah, Pelca holding his own. I mean, 1 stock apiece, not too much behind. Only 20% separates both of these Snakes, and there's still a lot to happen for the And I believe in the scene right now. There's an upset on the other street. Dark losing the piece light, I believe. But right now, this Ditto's going to continue full force. Nikita now out. Game continues, lobbing grenades over and over. Both sides of this Pokemon Stadium 1 that should be just level by now.
It really should be. I mean, Pokemon Stadium, they are in time for renovations. We'll see Pokemon Stadium 2 maybe next season, but for now, they can afford to blow this one up a little bit more. Still 3 minutes left on the clock, and they're
tied.
They were almost dead even for a second.
Yeah, I don't know if explosive is the word to use to describe this set. It's so much just item management right now for both players. However, yep, there you go.
The stage is set. The C4 is on the ground. Pelca's on the left side. Salem's on the right. Pelca can't really be too, I guess, passive right now, because if he goes down, then the C4 could explode. Oh, man. And Pelca detonates his own C4 just to get it out of the way. So no C4s on the field anymore, just grenades back and forth as Salem is really on death's door. He sickies him. Nice roll, though. He managed to get out of dodge with that one and stay alive. Snake is very heavy, so all things considered, this could be very close because he also hits like a truck, and Salem has a lot of rage on him.
Yeah, this is definitely damning for both players, but the first hit right there from Pelca to send Salem into the blast zone nets him his game one, and you see him just throw his head back.
Yeah.
Just as exhausting as it is to watch to play right now, as Snake did it with Salem. Oh my gosh.
Meanwhile, Salem looks like this is another day at like walking through the park for him. We saw Pelca like breathe a sigh of relief. Like I was counting every single grenade, like 2.89 seconds each time, and Salem's like, oh yeah, I know, this is fine. Let's run it back, man.
And the ditto continues. Oh boy, that was quite the first game. You're just tuning in right now. Pound 2019 features an exciting Snake ditto that is definitely going to run its course probably into a game 4 situation. It was a close game 1. So he's definitely not one-sided in this sense. Both players are just going to continue on this PS1. Grenade out.
And it's going to be really interesting to see what adjustments are made here, because normally the adjustments are made in a very different way in which like it's how you approach or how you space around your shield. But with grenades, it's all about the timing. It's a very tempo-based matchup. So whoever controls the tempo and whoever sets the pace, is the lead in this dance of grenades and explosions, is the one who will kind of dictate the pace.
That's a great Snake exhibition if you ever want to know what the character does. You missed out on Brawl. Right here, you get to see each part of his kit essentially maxed out to its fullest. Right now, tied once again, 1% for separating both of them, now 6. Pretty even. I mean, neither player is really hard committing to the other. They kind of have to fight at this distance, as we talked about before.
Exactly. And now that's an interesting adjustment. They're starting to use Nikita more in neutral to work their way through the grenades, just so that their opponent's shield is whittled down and they're forced to kind of react to it, maybe throw out a hitbox or get hit by an explosion that they already set up before. It's a game of chess. These guys are playing for a little bit later each time, 1 or 2 seconds in the future.
Oh man, yeah. Which step in the flowchart is going to be followed next? I mean, both of them are just really keeping the pace with themselves, not really advancing besides in front of the line that they set up for them. Pelca taking the first stock though.
Yeah, it's looking like World War I in the trenches. And did he stick you? He did, but again, Salem gets out of dodge with great tech. He's so good at avoiding situations where he could get blown up for a lot more damage when he's sticky.
Ooh, almost missed that. He missed that conversion. Great DI from Salem.
And now Salem, yeah, he sneaks that C4 right in there, using the platform to kind of hide his hand. He was like, oh, am I going to pull a grenade? No, I'll just drop a C4 just barely off the lip of the platform, so it's so much harder to see amidst all the other explosions going on.
I think we're at a grenade count of 576, now 578.
I'll take your word for that, man, because there's been so many explosions. I don't know where Snake has the budget for this. I don't know where he keeps all of these. That utility belt must have, I don't know, a hammer space inside of it.
So talking a moment about dittos, like where both players can really just get inside each other's head, because like, oh, I can do this, and then you can do it better, stuff like that. Right now with the projectiles too, it's also using each other's projectiles. And
that is true.
Taking those grenades, throwing them back, it's kind of like schoolyard snowball fights.
Except I wouldn't want to participate in this snowball fight because I like living. Grenades are not good to get hit by. Just like that dash attack, mortar up, going all the way up there, but Salem recovering even higher out in the stratosphere.
This is definitely something that I did not expect coming in today. But both these players are still going, locked in. Pelca, Salem, not giving up any sort of space to lean in into the up tilt. Beautiful by Pelca. Now 2 stocks to 1. This could be a 2-0.
And also that movement by Pelca beforehand. That was the first time we really saw any movement on display between the two. Like, sure, there was a lot of spacing and, B reverse with the grenades and very great spacing there. But that time, Pelca just kind of broke his ankles and got that grab.
Yeah, and first up tilt didn't work. Try again. This is peak Snake ditto hours. This is what peak Snake looks like if you're interested in trying the character. I mean, honestly, well, these players are just showing the extent of how much he can really dominate the areas of the stage he's not in. C4 currently placed. To get the advantage now.
And I feel like Salem, he has a bit of an advantage in terms of the grenade setups, but Pelca very wisely using the Nikita, just trying to force him off that platform so that they're on even ground again, but Pelca does get tagged out by the grenade, but oh, Salem gets hit for so much more. That was like 2 or 3 grenades.
Yeah, the damage is racking up. Both players,
he almost got that.
Yeah. Deceptively, both of them, again, kill percent kind of wavers because of their recovery. It has to be some sort of burst option that really takes them off stage, considering how well Snake can recover with Cypher. Right now, Pelca has the advantage, but just ever so slightly.
And he's trying to just hold on to that, make sure that he hits Salem with as many grenades as possible so that he can play it safe and just capitalize on this advantage, because Salem, I feel like he has the neutral advantage. It's just Pelca playing a little bit more decisively when it comes to killing, and also having a bit more setups when it comes to Nikita. Great movement by Pelca again right there. Salem on his back foot, going for a nair, not finding anything there.
It's time. He needs to push through because this stock will get harder and harder to get as the clock runs down. 6 minutes practically into the set, and the blank right there. Both players trying to up-tilt each other. Not, again, it's peak Snake Ditto hours.
And he goes for a dash attack, forcing him off stage. He goes for a backer, which likely would have been unprotectable, but he gets hit by his own grenade. Salem recovering high.
They're trying to vary how much they can recover and at what angle. They can't be predictable in any sense. So much is flying around. Right now, Pelca is taking control of stage. Salem on the edge.
And there's a C4 on that right side platform that just stopped blinking. I don't even know whose it is, but I feel like it's Salem's the way that he's positioning, and it was.
Nikita's online. Oh my gosh. Warfare.
Yeah, modern warfare right now, and we might see a bit of martyrdom because these grenades are killer.
Oh, the blind Nikita. It's okay. Cypher's back. Salem gets back right now. 168, 120. Both of these players are chucking everything they have because it's time for someone to take the stock. Only about a minute and a half left, and
oh my God, Pelca takes game number 2. Up tilt for up tilt, spot dodge for spot dodge. These guys are playing on the same pace, same tempo, but Pelca's just barely one step ahead.
Oh man, you know right there, being so close after all of that, only to lose the game regardless of what the percentages were and the stocks were at the end. That is Pelca's 2-0 that he's holding right now. He needs one more to take the set for a 3-0 and a handshake. But again, all of these games seem to be taking a little bit of a mental toll on Pelca, only given by his composure. You know, he's definitely like clenched the entire time, and then he's relaxing. Meanwhile, Salem is just locked in and out of the set.
And to be honest, man, I feel like Pelca has aged 3 years since the start of the set.
I've aged 5.
Yeah,
I'll be real.
I've aged at least head to hey, black don't crack, so you won't be able to tell for at least another 30. Anyway.
Game 3 now, though. Pelca, you know, he wants to play this, like, again, safely. But at the same time, like, if he doesn't press these advantages that he gets, then he's going to start to lose any sort of lead he garners. But right now, 75-10, Salem has a little bit of a lead. Let's see how long it can stay and what advantage he'll press on it.
And this was exactly what I was afraid of for Pelca, because Salem is probably the most clutch player in the world, and I'm not even, that's not even hyperbole or hyperbole, it's just exactly how he is. We saw him at EVO 2016 against Zero. I believe he took him to the brink each time, and he was down 100% and just killed him off the top immediately. In Salem, when it's time, it is time. Only 35%. This is the biggest lead that we've seen so far in the set.
Yeah, most of them staying within percentages of each other. Now, full stock ahead, though. We haven't seen this all set. Unfortunately, the wrong direction for Pelca, that down smash not.
And I respect that. I respect that. Going for a forward smash right there would have been one of the biggest things to swing the momentum that we've seen. And he was behind. It's what he needed. Being willing to go for those wild plays is how you make comebacks happen.
Exactly. The difference between a top player and a high-level player. Pressing the advantage in situations that other people wouldn't otherwise.
Oh, and Pelca eats so much damage for 2 explosions. And then down air and a grenade too. Look at that movement as well. Salem is starting to really pull out all the tricks, and he has grenade cooking. Z drops it. Look at this movement on shield. I think Salem woke up.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't sleeping on Pelca, but gosh, what an insane lead he's garnered now. This was not what was happening for the past 2 games. I think the mental resilience now is starting to show for one player over the other, as now in this Game 3, you know, Snake Ditto taking the most out of both players.
The spot dodge up tilt finally leads to a kill for Pelca, but 29% on his final stock. Snake very heavy, so he can make a comeback just by staying alive. On the virtue of staying alive in a matchup like this, I mean, your opponent will take damage. There's almost no way they can avoid it.
Yeah, everyone in the venue is just intrigued as to what is going on screen right now. Both of these Snake players just showing us each extent that Snake can influence the stage, both when he's near his opponent, when he's not. Ooh, trying to get a read there. Salem unfortunately not catching Pelca. 3 grenades and a Nikita. Parried the Nikita. Dash attack now online.
And it really is hypnotizing to watch these 2 play. It's a culmination of a decade of experience in Smash and in Brawl, in which Snake was a very huge threat. So these guys are kind of putting on a show, a history lesson for how Smash can be played in this kind of scenario.
Hints that they don't know, honestly.
And yeah, they're going to learn today.
Yeah. Absent in Smash 4, back in Ultimate. Now Snake is showing us why potentially he was taken out from one game and put in the other, but no matter right now, 114 and 116, even in percentage, but not in stock. Right there, the very slippery C4 knocks out Pelca, and now into a game 4.
Yeah, and what I really like about the C4 is that both have been letting the C4 sit for a very long time. That was the first time either of them really just put it down and detonated it immediately. So they kind of had grown accustomed to disrespecting that zone for the first couple seconds, saying, hey, I know you won't, you know I won't. Let's kind of play around this, you know, let's continue this dance. But Salem's like, excuse me, it's time for me to cut in.
Yeah, now the concerning thing here is that as each game drags on, Salem's ability to sort of start downloading his opponent gets stronger. And in the beginning where Pelca was able to take those quick games in the beginning, now that starts to sort of fade away as Salem gets the upper hand. That game was more convincing than the first two for sure. Pelca was winning in a last hit situation. So if we start to see the momentum shift, and now we're getting a potential game 5 between these two, this Snake Ditto can be kind of in for the long haul, all of us included.
Absolutely. But hey, I'm along for the ride because I'm loving every second of this. And I feel like the game being that decisive this time in the favor of Salem doesn't bode well for Pelca because every other game has been so close, like last stock, last hit. And then when Salem needed to most, he turned it all the way up. And Pelca looked a little bit lost, but now he does get the advantage in his counter pick, which is basically a comfort pick in this scenario because they're both playing the same character with the same tools.
Exactly. Dittos are always strange when it comes to counter picking because at that point, you're really picking for preference, considering the fact that both characters can do much of the same on the same stage.
But now they're both opting to kind of play the offstage game a bit more. Pelca loses out a little bit in terms of damage, but he hasn't really taken too much until right there. He jumped right into 108% of a down tilt, 2 grenades, and a back air from Salem.
Yeah, Salem definitely picked up his controller ever since last game because, again, these leads were not present in the first two. Sitting at 129, at 140 now.
Great tech, but he's at 157. If he gets grabbed, he's done, but he won't even be in that situation because Nikita is always there, always waiting just to call out the Cypher and make Pelca's first stock disappear.
Yeah, of course. Missed the back air, couldn't clip it. But right now, both players are starting to set up. Salem's sitting comfortably at only 49%. This is definitely shifting now. Different stories being told.
We're seeing a lot more Nikita just to kind of put it out there and cancel it because the hitbox is active all the way down. So it kind of creates an aerial line of, it's a no-fly zone for grenades because grenades hitbox are pretty big. So they'll just kind of run into it, stop, and you'll be a little bit safe. Unless you do it a bit too late as Salem does right there. But yeah, we see another instance of Nikita being used.
Yeah. 2 grenades on shield. At one point there was 3. This is absolute insanity when it comes to the pressure that both of them are applying to each other.
It's a C4 on the platform. And Snake is a tall character. Tall characters, and actually like shorter characters too, can kind of get blown up by the C4 on platforms if they're directly underneath it. The hitbox is a bit harder to hit on smaller characters, but Snake, he's a tall guy. Good posture.
Yep, tied again, but this extra stock lead will benefit Salem as we potentially head into game 5. I know it might be too early to call, but this is looking very different from the first 2 games we saw between these 2 Snakes.
Pineapple, he has the grenade, and he had nice DI to
avoid the tech.
Yeah, because that might have been untechable at that percent.
No, a potential 3 stock. Let's see what Salem sets up. He's got the C4 right above the platform, can't approach from above, has to walk into him. But again, walking towards Snake in these situations is anything but easy.
And this is bad for Pelca right now, not only in terms of just logistically, stock count, percent count, but because it's been this lopsided for the last like 10 minutes. You know, Salem's been turning it up, and I don't know if Pelca has the same clutch factor. I know for a fact that Salem can pull out comebacks at any point in time, but Pelca, he's playing so amazingly, but he might just not have the explosive factor, no pun intended.
Yeah, the capacity for Salem to play at this level for the amount of time that he is may exceed Pelca's. I mean, the resilience you need at this point now for this Ditto in Game 4 is higher than many people were able to provide.
Yeah, I don't know if Salem has the patience of a Buddhist monk just to kind of always be willing to slowly wait, and he'll do this for hours. Like, the dude's a fiend. He practices a lot of great matchup.
The extended hitbox on the Cypher, unfortunately on that forward smash, takes Pelca's stock away. And now it's a Game 5 situation. Salem just not even batting an eye.
Amazing stuff. And as you said, whenever a hitbox connects with a hurtbox, the hitbox gets extended for a certain amount of time because, you know, I guess it takes time to calculate what's exactly happening or something. So you have to pass that zone. There's only 2 frames of vulnerability on air dodge. And if you have a long-lasting hitbox, like, you know, that rocket launcher in that instance, you will get blown up and you will likely die as early as 50, 60, 30. But, I mean, he was at like 1 something, so it didn't even matter. Now we got game 5 between Salem and Pelca.
Yeah, we saw potentially either a misclick or hesitation. Mega Man not making a showing in this game 5. Instead, 2 snakes. PS1, the crowd is on their feet, just intrigued still. I see a lot of folded arms, a lot of confused looks, but honestly, curiosity all around because this is something we haven't potentially seen before when both playstyles are the way they are.
And especially not at this level. Normally, Salem's, you know, turning it up over most Snake Dittos. Like, the only real Snake Ditto I can really see is like Ally MVD or like Salem Ally or Salem MVD. Like, before that, that was the only 3 or 4 snakes that could really bring each other to this level, game 5. But now Pelca's trying to make his own run for his money. You have to talk about him now when it comes to great snake players.
Yeah, definitely. Terra New England getting a great batch of results recently, but right now showing the experience that he needs to at least compete with Salem and keep up with them. First 2 games he took, but now Salem brought it back, and in this game, any mistake is going to cost them immensely.
And it's looking much closer for Pelca than it was before. It looks like he started to find his footing. And I mean, Pokemon Stadium was where a lot of the magic happened before, so if you can just recreate lightning, you can maybe take game 5.
Yeah. This is tough. I mean, right now, managing himself on these platforms, trying to get down, trying to just dance around Salem while all these explosions are happening. Pelca is trying to make it work. He's trying to make the magic happen again, like you said.
Only 100% on his side, not close to death just quite yet. And Pelca, now he's starting to go for more burst options with dash attack, C4. Salem's hip to it. He's ready to get the parry that time and get a small punish afterwards.
All right, just Salem doesn't have to approach, so he's just going to throw down the C4s. Pelca on the bottom. Both players now trying to maintain the stage control that they were originally vying for. At this point in the Ditto, grenades are being thrown into each other because they're being pulled out at the same time.
Yeah, I'm really surprised at how well these guys are able to track each grenade. Oh man,
wow.
What I thought he was going to survive that.
I think potentially the DI was out of sync. Pelca definitely sort of like kicking himself after that death. It might have been preventable. And in situations like that, even though Salem is at 79, you still have to get him.
Yeah, he had a bit of mileage left on that stock, and every inch matters. Because look at this. Salem's at 92 now, but if he had held on to that stock, he got a couple more hits. It could have been a much closer game because an up tilt likely would have been able to sit out the stock now. And now Pelca has to fight his own battle back into there. He's doing a good job with Nikita right now and pulling out a lot of grenades again. Lobbing that one over the Nikita that time to force Salem off the platform, which Salem has been doing a good job holding on to platform control, which apparently is very important in this Ditto.
Oh, of course. I mean, right now, both of the platforms, how they manage their C4s on it determines how they're able to at least knock each other out of sync. I mean, right now, geez, Michael Bay, if you're watching, take notes.
Yeah, Michael Bay, he's loving every second of this. He's like, oh, I think maybe in the next movie I'll have 18 grenades. Like, Michael Bay, live your best life, man, because Snake is living his.
Yeah, right now, Salem in the lead still. Like I said, he started at 70-ish in the stock, but trying to even hit Salem at this point is a challenge in and of itself.
And a bit of respect being shown right there. The C4's on the platform, they both have grenade in hand, but Pelca is losing the shield war as well. Look at that, it's getting smaller and smaller. He can't really play defensive anymore. He has to go on the aggressive, as he does right there with the dash attack, invincible arms during that. He cancels Nikita just at the right time.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a shallower angle, meeting his up tilt now, potential 3-stock situation. The percentage is high, but touching Salem at this point in the game is just something that is just so harrowing.
And now Pelca's starting to look a little bit defeated. We saw after that stock loss, he kind of held his head down a little bit, shook his head, and he was like, man, this is really how it's going to go, reverse 3-0. And unless he can recompose himself very quickly, that's what's in the cards.
Yeah, this is just so draining to sort of take. You have to take a stock now from Salem. It's insane.
Yeah, it's not a position I would want to be in, and it's not a position anyone really want to be in, because being behind against Salem, it's scary enough being ahead against him, but being behind against him, that one hurts even more.
Yeah, there is, again, signs of a download here. these were not how the first 2 games went. Pelca definitely showing his early lead that he was able to manage, but now playing from behind, I guess, especially on a Snake Ditto, is just something that he's still struggling with, even as, again, he starts to get that percentage up. But now sitting at 123, the next hit could do it.
Yeah, and even as the percent climbs, like, it just kind of makes it easier for Salem because a grab can do it very soon. We do know that grab to forward tilt should start working soon, and at 160, it's grab to death, but up tilt is guaranteed.
And there it is, with Salvo's shield, but then roll out because they knew the threat of the grab was right there. Throwing up a mortar, trying to get some coverage, but Salem's just able to hop around it and get to the stage himself. Just seeing a game ender here.
He's so slippery. Look at the movement by Salem, always just staying out of range, giving up a bit of space, but never in a position where he seems lost. You know, Pelca sometimes when a bunch of grenades and explosions going off, it seems like he's playing reactionary, but Salem's always there, always waiting, always aggressive. And now Pelca's trying to throw out the Nikita, get some space back. I think he's trying to recompose himself mentally more than get himself into this game. And I do agree with that. Sometimes you just need to take a breather.
Yeah, talking about breathers though, potentially offering us one now as this Ditto heads into the last minute and a half. Whatever happens, this will be it. Whether it's Pelca, whether it's Salem, whether it's the timer. Right now, the grenade saves him.
It gets hashtag 174. Does he have a grenade in hand? He does. Just try to chuck it down. And the Cypher buying some space for him. Very lucky for Pelca that it went that direction. But this is it. Down throw, up tilt, and that is how it ends. GG. Salem reverse sweeps Pelca in a long, harrowing, difficult set. But he does it. And that just speaks to the constitution that he had the entire way.
God, that was a Ditto.
That was not only Ditto, but like the highest echelon of Snake Ditto that I've seen in a long time. I miss this character so much. Snake is so unique. I do. I love watching Snake. I love playing Snake. Snake is a cool character. And these guys, I mean, they know what's up with it.
Yeah. So again, that was incredible to not only commentate, but the block itself. J-Dog really enjoy it. We're going to actually take a break in a sec. It's been a pleasure, though. Swar myself, J-Dog, nice to be joined by you. Pound 2019 still continuing on. A tier right now, punctuating in the middle of April. We're going to have more action for you here after these messages, so don't go anywhere. And